This is the Digital Trust Podcast. In every episode, we strive to bring support to those of you who serve on the front lines and in the trenches of data and technology. We endeavor to bring understanding to the under-resourced and underappreciated, help remove your stress, and provide relief to your pain. Welcome to the Digital Trust Podcast. Sit down with us as we give you hard-hitting advisory conversations to help you build digital trust with your stakeholders and clients, and actionable takeaways to help you become a digitally trustworthy organization.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Digital Trust Podcast. My name is Christian Redshaw. I am your host today, along with my co-pilot and co-host, Rossilyne Tan. Rossilyne, thanks for being here today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right. And with us, we have all the way from Turkey, we have Guney Seyhan. He is a multi-decade veteran of technology and cybersecurity, and he represents a company called Brandefense. Guney, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. And it's been an honor and a privilege to start this podcast with you. I'm feeling very excited, both also honored and privileged. So I'll start from introducing myself. I'm the global sales manager responsible for all Brandefense global operations. And actually, this is not just a sales job. It's also a worldwide operations coverage job. And how I'd like to start my story is that I'd like to point on the evolution of the digital landscape into what nowadays we call it, unfortunately, the threat landscape. Back in the days, people used to protect their computers, their tiny personal computers or their servers, and they think that the protection will only stay there. Unfortunately, after a while, they realized that actually this has gone into lateral motion within the network once the networks were set up, and all the other equipments were started, being maliciously, attended, attacked, hacked, exploited, breached, whatever you call it. And then there came the cloud, and also they realized that there also needs to be a cloud protection, where we call it cloud access security broker nowadays. And came the Internet of Things, and then they realized that these little things, the gadgets, they also need to be protected because they have a kernel within, and they are IP accessible, and they're network connected. Unfortunately, they are all over without the proper protection. And then there came the operational technology. People also realized that factories and manufacturing facilities needs to be protected because those are dangerous places. And then people have started realizing that there has been some things going on the cyber world, not underneath the roof, not inside the data center, not inside the infrastructure. Okay, they realize that, yeah, we're protecting the house, we're locking the door of our apartment, we're locking the gates of the building, and also we're even putting a janitor to sometimes protect us, like is qualified as a firewall. So you will now understand why I'm making a sarcasm about this, because the firewalls, IPSs, and everything else, and protecting the house only does not give you protection at all. What you're trying to protect is actually here, when protecting the house and the building, is only when you compare the risk magnitude, it's only the tip of the iceberg. Mm-hmm. There is a bottom part of the iceberg which sinks ships. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that we should be taking care of. And if what I'm saying right now wouldn't be true, then there won't be any cameras monitoring streets all over around the secure facilities, right?
Mhm.
They would protect the castle, they would protect the building. That's it. The house was protected, but unless you know who's crawling around that secure facility, unless you are able to take precautionary measures before things start happening by monitoring around these buildings,
Mhm.
you're not safe. So
Mhm.
unless you're covering the protection of the digital assets, right?
Mhm.
This is the terminology that we love the most.
Yes.
Before they start spreading all over the cyber world on the surface web, deep web, and the dark web. Before we have them exposed, we have them stolen, exploited, and used as contents in the cyberspace without our consent, without our authorization. This what ruins the integrity of a company and a brand name. What happens is that people there is also the evolution of the expansion of this digital landscape when it's converting to threat landscape. What happened was with the start of the pandemic, with the work from anywhere concept, with the increase of the applications that are demanded and need be operational, with the increase of access, with the increase of data, the increase and expansion of everything just made everything so proud and so threat worthy. And what happened was people have started from these wireless Wi-Fi access points, accessing these unfortunate poor people's workstations, breaching their workstations, stealing their data, putting them on internet with phishing links and without their consent, impersonating them, and after a while also stealing all their corporate data, and then started, damaging these people. And at the second stage was their corporations, because when you breach that computer, that workstation, you're also inside their organization. And they have started penetrating the very front line, the perimeter, the exposed IPs, and they penetrated. And then they started going in lateral motion, and they started deploying agents and data inside their infrastructure, which you were trying to protect and you were bulletproof actually, but somehow you're gone because your employee is just chosen to access the corporate framework from a Starbucks Wi-Fi. And what happened was that they're now in possession of all your information. And you are now open to ransomware. You are now open to being impersonated corporate wise. You're now in the danger of having your clients being manipulated with all types of fraudulent activities. And what happened? What just happened? You just lost your digital assets. You just lost everything. And soon, and very soon in the near future, with losing of all this, you have just lost your business. And this is actually the end, the term of a business life. So, in order not to have this happening, what you only need to do is I'm now giving it a magical, very simple draft name: monitoring. Monitor it. Monitor around, monitor in the cyberspace, monitor in the dark web, monitor the surface web, monitor the deep web, monitor everywhere. Just know everything. Information is always good to have, even if you don't use it. Just ingest all that data by monitoring and put it into your pool of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a customer with digital assets, just put those digital assets on a fishing rod, stick them one by one, swing your rod into the pool, fetch it out with all the related info that is swimming in the dark web, just stick onto your fishing rod and just now decide what to do afterwards. Report them, don't do anything, or take them down.
Awesome. I think
That's how you protect yourself.
that's a really great picture of the whole external threat landscape, Guney. And what kind of data assets or information assets are at risk. I think we have time for one more question. We've got a couple of minutes left in this episode. Ross,
Sure.
did you have a question?
Yeah, Guney, I'm curious, what are the most sought after data types in the dark web?
Actually, the most important data as digital assets are the IP numbers of the backbones that you have in your infrastructure. Once they're exposed, they have become a digital asset of interest. And also the user credentials. They're very dangerous because once you are into the workstation of an employee with their digital asset or their username or password, there you go. You're inside his or her organization, actually. So credentials, IP numbers, and also if you want to combine, if you're a financial institution, card BIN numbers and credit card numbers. These are the most targeted digital assets in cyber world by threat actors.
Thank you, Guney. That's an amazing picture of, actually a negative picture of the situation. I think
Amazingly negative.
Amazingly negative. I mean, I think IT leaders, security leaders, are often looking at the networks, protecting from getting their house in order, but maybe they're not living out and having visibility as much into the deep web and the dark web on a daily basis.
Exactly.
So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Visibility is like the religion of protection.
Right.
When you make everything visible, there you have the control on everything.
Excellent.
If you have the visibility of that train that is going to come, that is coming onto you and will hit you, and like a mile afterwards, it's best that you see that train and eliminate it before it rams onto your back door. So visibility is just everything. It's the absolute best thing.
And we'll end on that note. Guney, thank you so much for being here today. I think we'll have you back on a future episode. And special thanks to our viewers and listeners for joining us today and being part of this great, but also very, very negative and very bleak conversation here today. We'll hopefully bring you back up again to your feet in the future. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us today on the Digital Trust Podcast. If you found this conversation helpful, please share it with someone you care about. And if you'd like to receive our monthly newsletter, please click the link in the description to subscribe. And to put your mind at ease, our newsletter will include episode summaries with key points and actionable takeaways, plus a heads up on the upcoming episode guests. Rest assured, it won't be a spammy sales message, and we will never sell or share your information. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.